Hello everyone, this is Murat and today we are going to build a to-do app using React and Tailwind CSS. So the application we are going to build will be similar to this. Maybe the colors will change because I will rebuild it. We will rebuild it here. I just want to first show what is it all about. As you can see, this is a very basic to-do app. You can click done button and you see there's a line through going on, which indicates the to-do has been done, and with each click we can see the title of the to-do and the unique ID of the to-do. We will need this, we will need this to manipulate our to-dos. We can delete, as you can see, add new one, and we can add new to-dos. Like this is what you expect from a to-do app for the most basic part, you see. And we are going to store them in local storage, so whenever I refresh the page, close it, come back, it will be saved in my local machine. So yeah, this is what we are going to build. And for this tutorial, it's not actually a completely beginner tutorial, let me close this. Yeah, I will expect you to know the basics of web development to follow through this tutorial, like the basic understanding of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a little bit of React. React is a JavaScript framework to create more robust applications. It simplifies a lot of things and I like it. It's my personal choice. And so if you know even just a little bit of React, it will be better, because I don't want to go over GSX and everything, the underlying structure, the logic, the reason of React and so on. I will go through some things in React, like state, props, hooks, so it will be interesting to see if you don't know about this or you would like to strengthen your knowledge about them. So we are going to use Tailwind CSS, which is a CSS framework, UI framework that simplifies development a lot. Now also, instead of create React app, I'm going to use Vite, which is a different build system. I guess it uses sbuild. It's much faster for development. I'm not sure if it can be suggested for production, but for development it's really good. So, and this is how you create a new Vite application. npm, you go to the folder that you want to create the application, you write npm init with at latest and the name of the application you want to create. To do YouTube, this is what I will create. I click and bam, you see these are the options that I can create a Vite project with. I choose React, I choose JavaScript over TypeScript, and done. I go to do YouTube, the folder that I created, and use npm install. Now you see it's quite fast. Like with create React app, that will take a lot of time. We will install UID npm package, which creates unique IDs that we have seen before. So let's install it. Let's open our application. This is how you open the whole application in your terminal. I'm using Linux. Well, you see I have a structure, I have a source folder. I won't be needing this, because we are going to use Tailwind CSS. We won't need a CSS file. What did I do there? There's an extension, I'll show you, a VS Code extension. Nope, this one. you can install it, and it gives you some handy shortcuts for creating components and so on. And with RFC it creates a functional component. It's cool, I like it. Now let's install Tailwind CSS. Well, the installation for Tailwind CSS changes from environment to environment, and this is how to install it with Vite. I found it by a Google search, so you can use your own. I'm gonna skip that part because we already created our application. So let's install Tailwind CSS here, and then let's init. See, things are fast. And now I have to go to the Tailwind config file that's been just created and change the contents as shown in here. I have to go to my index.css file and change it like so, and let's copy this to see if everything is working. We gotta check. Now let's go npm run dev to open the development environment. Bam, we are there, and it's working. How do we understand Tailwind CSS is working? Let's see what we did. Inside the div, we created an h1 element with these classes. See, if I delete the underline will go away. Well, this is how Tailwind CSS works. Instead of creating separate CSS files, you write, and instead of creating separate files and grabbing the classes you give for your elements, you just write the classes. They are predefined, coming from it, Tailwind CSS, predefined classes you write in your elements, and it styles them. So it's, once you get the hang of it, it's it simplifies the development process heavily. So okay, well, I don't need that anymore. Actually, I'm not gonna use that. What do I need? Well, actually I'm gonna do a little bit copying here because I don't remember the colors I used, so why not? Let's see. You see, this is the code I've just written for the project you've seen at the beginning. I just want to use these two, and I will explain them. So you see, it did a lot of things actually. For the container div, it says, I say h screen, which means the height should take the whole of the screen. Flex display flex for the flex box. Flex the direction column. This means justify start, justify items start. Align items center. You see, it's, instead of writing all of these are very short. This is the background. And here, I don't know which one is useless here. I don't care actually. Change the text color, and here we add an h1 element with text being sorry, in Turkish, 4x large, and margin for the y-axis 5. You see, this is how you see, this is how we define margin. Now, what do I want? First, we will need hooks, so let's write our hooks. Let's import them. Well, what are these? We are going to see these are the most basic, maybe most important hooks in React. Use states will help us keep track of the component state. What is a component state? Component state is how things are at that moment, how the data is stored at that moment, and we can change the state, the data of the whole component using this hook. Use effect hook is a way to deal with component life cycles. What are component life cycles? I told you guys this is not a complete beginner course, so like in React and in other frameworks there is this component life cycles. When like if you were writing React with class components, because we can do that too, and they don't accept hooks, so we will use component did mount, component did update, and so on, and they help us to do things when something happens to the component, like when the component first appears, mounts, do something, when the component has changed, do something like. And use effect helps us do those things, and these two are the most used, I guess, hooks. Anyway, let's import our unique ID package that we have just downloaded using this part, and we are almost good to go. Yeah. Now, since this is a to-do app, I want to create some to-dos. I need some to-dos, but I need these to-dos to be in this state so that I can manipulate them. So first I will create, oh my god, let's comment this out, but let's keep it. We are going to use it later on. Since I just built this application, Copilot sees that I'm doing something very similar to what I have done before, and it suggests me the things I have done. So I mean, I love it. It's good. So this is how we create a use state hook. We give you see, we give a parameter followed by a comma and another parameter, set parameter. Like we could have written state, set state, or another thing, it doesn't matter, but since these are to-dos, I'm going to write like this. And then to invoke the use state hook, we call it here, and I will have an array inside, an array of objects. See, we have an ID, we have a title, and we have a state of a boolean of completed. So ID, we are invoking the unique ID package. It right now it creates a completely unique ID for this object. We have title, learn React, and we have a boolean of completed, because we will need to know whether our to-do was completed or not. Let's create a second one. You see, it remembers everything. The Copilot remembers everything I've done. This was the objects I've created. Now I have my objects, and I want to create something here, and I will get it just from here, because this is quite an annoying one to start to do all over again. Let me close the div. So like I want my to-dos to be here. How did this happen? I gave it a class name of to-do container. This is completely useless. It doesn't do anything. It just shows me that this is the div or that's containing to-dos. That's all. Border creates the border. As we see, you see when I take it out, you cannot see a border. This means that the height of this div should be 70% of the total height, and this implies that it should be half of the total width. And you see, simple. Now here, I need to map my to-dos here, because I want to see my to-dos. Let's map them. How do we do it? Like in JSX, if we want to write a JavaScripty function, we have to use these curly braces inside the return statement, and it just gives me I don't know if you know about map function, map method, map array method in JavaScript, but what it does is basically it does something to each and every element on an array. Also, if I'm not mistaken right now, because there is a for each array method too, map method should create a new array, because one of the things with React, one of the most important things is that you do not manipulate state directly. You don't. You use this second parameter, but you never ever manipulate the state directly. Let's check map. Mozilla developer docs is wonderful. Does it say anything? Yes, sorry. Oh my god. The map method creates a new array populated with the results of calling a provided function on every element in the calling array. See, creates a new array. That's why we don't use for each on React, because we don't want to manipulate the state directly. That's a big no-no. It creates some bad stuff. So we have this. Let's see what will it give us. It's just wonderful. Tack. I will explain. Oh my god, what are you doing? Huh? It got crazy. I will explain everything. And it won't be like that too. I mean, I'm going to change this. This I didn't like at all. Oh my god. So ugly. So ugly. You know what? You see it here, I have something different. I didn't add my to-dos directly here. We are gonna use them as props. But before doing that, let's see what is going on here. See, we have the titles, we have the buttons, and let's check. So for each to-do item, create a div. Each map item should have a key property in React. So we are using the unique ID, so we are good to go. Here we are displaying flags, justify items between and align items center. This is the title of our to-dos, and for buttons we have this. Actually, I want to grab the buttons I have created because they are much better. Just a moment, please. Yeah, let me get those buttons right now only. See, it's better now, isn't it? Like much better. What is going on? Oh yeah, I have to delete this. These do not exist at all. Sorry about that. Now for buttons I give a background text color, and these margin, like margin 2, padding of the x-axis 2, padding of the y-axis 2, and rounded is the shape. You see, it rounds the element, the bottom, and it's so easy. In CSS, what would we do? Border radius, I guess. We will do border radius to do this rounded effect, you know. Well, it's much simpler. I know, again, I know it looks confusing and daunting, but the thing is, as you can see, I just copy paste from the things that I have built. Like, it will take me time to rebuild them, you know. I don't know them by heart. That's why okay, let's close this. That's why I have the Tailwind documentation here. Whenever I want to do something, I search, like, I don't know how to give padding. I check, I see, so this is how we do it, and again, still simplifies a lot. I mean, now what do? We have these. What do I want to do right now? Let me add some input field, and it should be here. Yeah. I want to add an input field here. Oh my god, of course, because these do not exist at all. None of them exists. Oh, I put it into wrong place. Button div. Now, yeah. Okay. I mean, what's going on here? I know I'm being lazy, but I will put the code on GitHub and you can check it. I just don't want to rewrite these all over again. Maybe I should have had, but it's done already. So anyway, so we have flex column for put. We have an input field here. Take number so that it have and basic stuff like this. Right now, it looks much the same. It will be better borders. It's better, you know, for each. Now, sorry, I just can't sit still for a long period of time. It gets really boring. I get itchy. So yeah, that's why I paused. And maybe I should try to go a little bit slower. Just sorry, this is my third take and it's 8 in the morning. So anyway, now we have pretty much everything on the UI we need, but this is a lot of code in here. I don't like it, you know. I want to do something else. I want to create a components folder, and there I want to create a new file, todo gsx, yeah, and I want to move this functionality here, everything's going on here, to here. Of course, this is not going to work because we don't have this. Now I have to import this new component. Now, you know, yes, I am a smoker, and whenever I smoke writing code, I feel like Jin Yang from the show Silicon Valley. I don't know if you have seen it or not. It was hilarious. Anyway, now we have to do some props. So the thing with React is, it creates a component-based approach. So you divide your application into different components that files that contain code that, when integrated together, create the whole application. And this is much easier to handle, because imagine if you would write all your code in one file, it would be quite annoying, quite daunting to look at. So we don't do that. Normally I will do this into I will create new components and so on, but I don't want to make a couple of hours long tutorial. I hope this will be maximum 1 hour maybe. So that's why we are using components. These won't work, these are not going to work. You see. Now I'm going to use my to do here. So what did I do? Okay, when I first started learning React, I had quite the difficulties understanding props. Okay, so here I will try my best to explain them. Like state, it was easy for me. Like I got it like that. Okay, we need state, because I was having extreme troubles with vanilla JavaScript to manipulate the state. So React was like a lifesaver, like this idea of state. But props I couldn't understand, and most of the tutorials, the beginner tutorials, you will see they don't really show the use of props. So props is a way to pass data from parent, which is this component, to the child, to this component, but in such a way that each one of the child components can take a different data. Here I'm gonna do it. Yes, I'm just checking, I'm just checking the code because I don't want to do the trial and error too much in the tutorial. So we need our keys, because right now what we are doing, we are using the map function to create a to-do component for each of the objects, each of the items here. That's what we are doing. And no, really, no, I don't want that. And these are props. Here I am giving props. What are these? Okay, and okay, nice. Oh my god, what happened? To do is not defined. Of course it's not defined. Of course it is not defined. I'll see why. Now what is going on here is that for each of the to-do items, using the map function, I'm sending some data, I'm not sending key actually, I guess. For title of each element, I'm sending this title, and sorry, it's quite complicated to even explain after all this time. What's a map function doing? A map function just loops over all the items here and spits them out in some way. Now when I write title to do title, it takes the individual to do element. That's I could have given any name to this, like I could have give the name of no, I could have given the name of L and change all of these to L, but to do is better, I guess. It sends to the child precisely the title of the current element and the ID of the current element and the status of completed of the current element. And to get them in here, props, we are going to I need my nicotine, sorry. And normally we will use props, but we are going to destructure it. To get the props in a destructured way, we are using the curly braces in our child component, and we need title completed and ID. Okay, title completed and ID. Now I can delete this. Let's actually, you see what I'm doing, you cannot see. To choose multiple elements on VS Code, I just hold shift whilst using the arrow keys, and then to choose all of them I press Ctrl and D. Now I can do some things on both of them. See, it's super cool. Now bam, you see we have the same application. Like before, this part was rendered here and it was cluttering the code, and now like we can deal with it in here. Nothing has changed. It's the same, but it's just easier to deal. Like if there's a bug, we can find it easier here, and it's easier to read, and so on and so on. Now first I want to add the done functionality. You know, whenever I click an item, it should have a line through here. So I mean, I have the functionality here, and it is a very, very, in my opinion, ugly function. So this I'm gonna copy because this is ugly, like really ugly to start with. And okay, let me first explain this, and then we are going to pass it as props, and then we will add it into the buttons here, to done button here. So first things first, like I'm saying it is ugly because this is what I think. In React we have to do things a little bit different so that we won't manipulate the state directly, because that will create extreme headaches. So here I'm creating a handle down function that takes a parameter of ID, because I need to, in order to understand, you know, in order to do something with an individual item, I need that ID. I need the ID of that item. So that's why it's taking the ID as a parameter. Now I create a new todos constant, which takes the state using the JavaScript spread operator. So I'm doing this so that I will manipulate this scoped constant and not the state. And then I need the index of the element I'm dealing with. You see, I use find index method on the new todos constant, and I get the index of it. Then I mean, it's really ugly, but it works. An ugly code, but it works. So I get using the index in the new totals array of objects. I again use spread operator to put it as it is and add what how to explain this? Like this will basically mark the completed boolean as true if false and false if true. So this is what it's doing. I don't know how to explain it further, and I'm just doing some console logs here to see things better. And here I'm using local storage to set items, again new to those, and at the very last I set the state to these new totals constant. So like the idea is that I want to do something, I want to change things, I want to change the state of completed, I want to change this boolean of a particular item in that state, but I cannot do that in state because that's not the React way. So I have to create, like, there are, I'm sure, many ways, but this is how I did it, even though I called it ugly maybe a couple of times already. So since I cannot do it on the state, I do the things that I wish to do on the scoped variable constant new to those I create, and then I use state hook to set the state to this new variable. So this is how it works. This is how use state hook works. So I did it. Now, like, in order to use this, I need to pass this function as a props, because like this here we need that function. So we will add an onClick function handle done id. Is it gonna work? Yes, but I forgot something. What did I forget? Of course now it works fine. We just need to add something more. You see here I have a different let me show you now what's going on here. If, let's see, tac, it's working fine. As you can see, whenever I click an item and an individual item, we see a line through, and the way how I managed to do it is for the p element, I use these are called template literals, I guess. Like this is JavaScript. This is how you can add JavaScript inside a JavaScript with string in JavaScript. JavaScript functionality. So these are backticks. This takes the completed value if it's true. If it's completed, add the class of line true in the class name. If it's not, don't don't add it or take it away. Yeah, I see that it looks confusing, but I mean, it gets better. This is the best I can say. I mean, just imagine, I just built this application, like before starting this video. I just built this, and I'm having trouble talking about it. I mean, this is how it is, I guess. So this is working, but there's something I don't like here. What? You see, not melee, sorry. Oh, then and here. So ugly. No, this was the correct one. Okay, so what did I do? Sorry about that. I just found it ugly. You see, they're on the othermost left. Oops. And this means padding left of 4. See, padding 4. What does 4 mean? See, padding left of 1 rem, 16 pixels. So again, it might look weird and daunting, but just think of this way, that way. Like, you want to add padding, and there are many ways. Like, what are you gonna do? Padding left, right, top, or bottom? So we have this. I mean, if you want to add top and bottom, there's x-axis. If you want to, if you want to add left and right, there's x-axis. If you want to add top and bottom, there's y-axis. If you don't want to add both of them and just use one of the directions, you can just say padding left, padding bottom, padding right, padding top. So, and once you get the idea, everything in Tailwind CSS repeats itself, but that's the idea. So it gets pretty easy to do stuff with it. Yeah, I'm just checking if there is a problem with the recording or not, because on my second recording there was a problem and I lost maybe half an hour of video. Now I have this. It's good. I want to delete it too, because this is what a to-do app. Okay, I did it. I need to add some new to-dos. Right now nothing happens because we didn't add the functionality, and we cannot delete. So let's add them. Let's add them. Const, oh my god, yes, handle delete. I'm just going forward with it. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Let me check. Oh yeah, this is how I wrote it. Wonderful. Okay, let me explain. Again, you know why we take the ID as a parameter? Because again, if I click this, I want to get the ID, this ID. You see, their IDs are different. Like this ID and this ID are different. They are unique. So I want to get the ID, and then I use the filter function to get every single item except the one that I passed here. This is what it's doing right now. So if I click this, this new to this constant will like, since I deleted the Tailwind one, I choose the Tailwind one, it will get everything except the Tailwind one. You see, this is how it works. And then I set the to-dos and I use local storage to save it. Now as you would guess, we need to send this function as props. We need to accept it. Let's copy paste it here, and we need to add as a onClick function. By the way, sorry, you know, like normally there's this way of using functions too, you know, like directly. We don't do that because if we did, it will try to run at component mount. We don't want that. We want these onClick functions to run only and only if they are clicked. So that's why we are using an anonymous arrow function inside, and we are getting the ID. Now I wonder what will happen. Dun dun dun, bam! It works. Now we have to add. Let's handle the lates. Everything here. It's just crazy. Now you see my buttons and input have some different things here. Let me copy paste them too. I'm lazy, sorry. I have to fix that laziness. But I'm lazy. I mean, what can I do about it? Oh my god, what did I do? Of course. Do you remember this? We are using this right now. So we need to get this input value here. Let's see if it's getting. It's wonderful. Oh my god. Yes, it's working. Again, we are using the useState hook. We have input value and set input value. So because we need to get this input, that my new total, we need to get this, and it should be such that whenever I click this add to do button, it should do something. So how do we do it? First off, I guess, yeah, here in the input field, I give the value of input value, which is this, my state, and on change, whenever I click, whenever I press a key on the keyboard, it takes the event and which here it sets the state to the whatever inside of this input field. So the moment I finish writing, this is in my state, you know, my state knows that this is what I've written, but I need to use that state somehow. So I invoke the handle add to do function in my button. You see, this is what I talked about. Like in props, we cannot do that. You see, like here, onClick function is like it's taking directly, you know, like because we don't need the ID, we don't need it, we are not using props. It's a basic, it's the same component, so we can do it like that. But in child components, we couldn't have done that. Let's see what will happen if we try it. You know, let's try. Boom. No, doesn't work. Oops, sorry about that. See, so we have to do it like this. Now I invoke the handle add to do function, which creates again a new todo constant that creates a new unique ID, because I'm creating a new to-do. I need ID. Title takes the input value from state, which was given on kpress change. Yeah, it's complicated, man. Like, development is complicated. Or maybe I'm making it complicated, but I don't know how would I do it differently. I don't know. Anyway, and I set the to-dos with my state with spread operator that adds the second parameter to the first parameter, and then I set the local storage, and it works, right? Let's see. Yeah, it works. But they are not saved in local storage. I mean, I save them, but I need to get them too. Here, what we are doing is our use effect function. Let's set use effect. Oh my god. So not function, sorry, use effect hook. So with our use effect hook, which fires each time there's a change, there's an update going on, we create a store to-dos constant, and we get the parsed version of local storage and set our to-dos with the stored ones so that we can get the new ones. Like, let's add. See, I refresh and I have the new to-do. I delete one and click two of them. I refresh, and yeah, the state persists. I change, and that's all, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I need to do anything else. I hope I was helpful. It's very obvious I still have to learn more about teaching. I realize that I do a lot of copy paste from my own code, but I hope and I think that it will change in my future tutorials. The more I get self-confidence, I guess it will be easier to do, because I don't want to make too much mistake, you know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you learned something. And if you liked this video, subscribe. I'm gonna put more and more tutorials, hopefully better ones. So that's it. See you. Take care.